appreciate you taking us along wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. Thanks a lot for taking Indiana Sports Beat along. Jim Coyle sitting in with you as always. Justin Kalen and I atop the crew chief spot.
That's right.
Got a lot to get to. Lots of action last night. A lot of college basketball action last night. A lot of news, transfers. Grant Absinthe will be on the program. We'll talk a little bit about the Pacers. They took one from the Celtics last night. Also, Dustin DePirick from The Athletic. We'll talk about some college basketball. Who's it up? This is Jim Coyle. When I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, you want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat. This is Jim Coyle. When I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for a happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you can fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat. Here on this 10th day of January. It's been an unbelievable winter so far here in the Midwest, but things are about to change, unfortunately.
Well, John told us that on Monday. He was right.
I guess I wasn't paying attention. It didn't drop in on me, but the white stuff's coming this weekend. Golly, it's kind of hard to complain. You're into January, and it was 60 degrees the other day, 2 days ago.
Could have went out and golfed if you wanted.
Wind was a little rough. Probably would have helped my game going a certain, as long as it was going the right direction. Otherwise, it would have not been much of a help. Welcome along to Indiana Sports Beat here today. We appreciate you joining us, like I said, on the program. Dustin DePerick from The Athletic. We'll talk some college basketball, Hoosier basketball specifically, as Indiana's on the road tomorrow night at Maryland. What will be another tough Big Ten road game. A lot of information out now. The net rankings, my favorite little tool and toy to mess with. Indiana has moved up to, I think, 15. I can't get my stupid link to open, of course. As always is the case. Perfect. But Indiana moves up to Virginia's number 1, I think, in that. And Indiana has moved up to number 15. This is a tool that I use more than anything else. I think it's a lot more accurate as to what is going to go on when it comes time for the Selection Sunday. Now, the ACC has really moved up. They've got, I want to say, 6 in the top 16.
Wow.
You know, they've kind of taken the Big Ten's place a little bit, but the Big Ten has already been beating each other up. Haven't seen much of that out of the ACC yet. But they've got the first and second spot, with Virginia is in the number 1 spot over Duke. What do you think of that?
I think, I don't know. I'm sitting here thinking about that because I'm looking at them right now. I don't know. I think overall, talent-wise, Duke's probably has more talent, but I think in terms of team and what we've seen the past 4 or 5 years, Virginia is probably the better team.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's going to be interesting.
How good were they in the NCAA tournament last year?
That's true. Very true.
Only number 1 seed to ever lose to a 16.
I'm going to be real. These matchups in the regular season between Duke and Virginia should be real good.
Yeah, that's going to be a contrast of styles, man. Yeah. Virginia's methodical defensive play against Duke's wide-open Zion Williamson 360 high-flying Duncan.
Hey, he doesn't want to be known as a dunker anymore. He does it all, man.
Did he say that?
Yeah.
Well, he's not known as dunker to me. He just has
he was
dunks.
I guess he was asked about it after their game last night or 2 nights ago, and he was like, "I do more than dunk, man. I don't know why everybody says I'm just a dunker."
Only 2 unbeatens left in college basketball now. Virginia is one of them, precisely why they're sitting in that number 1 spot. 13-0. Michigan, the other, out of the Big Ten, 15-0, of course. Houston was the third. They fell last night.
2 more to drop till Indiana preserves that 76 record again.
Well, I think it's going to be pretty ironic if on the 19th, when Michigan visits Simon Scott Assembly Hall, if Indiana does knock them off, how appropriate that would be.
They will knock them off.
I hope so, but it's going to be a tough game. Looking forward to seeing Indiana play a higher-ranked team and beat them. Their opportunities are dropping a little bit as the Big Ten is beating up on itself, but they're going to have their shots with Michigan and Michigan State. Do they travel to Michigan State? They do. They don't travel to Wisconsin this year, I think, or Nebraska.
Yeah, they don't go to Wisconsin.
Or Nebraska. Which kind of sucks, really, because that would have put in probably a decent year to go to Wisconsin if Minnesota can beat them there.
Wisconsin's, like, to me, probably the most confusing team in the Big Ten. Are they good? Are they not good?
I know it. Yeah.
Like,
I'm with you on that. They are a little confusing. I think they're getting a little more love because Ethan Happ's on the team, to be honest with you.
It's probably not far off.
Also, in college football coaches want to see the targeting rule split into 2 categories. That would determine whether certain hits delivered with the crown of the helmet carry malicious intent. Basically, they're trying to do the flagrant 1 or 2 in college basketball. Todd Barry, the executive director of the American Football Coaches Association, said Wednesday that the FBS coaches at their annual meeting unanimously supported a model that would assign targeting 1 or targeting 2 to a player who makes forcible contact with the crown of his helmet. Targeting 1 fouls would result in a 15-yard penalty, but no ejection or suspension. Targeting 2 fouls would result in an automatic ejection and potential suspension. The current rule states any targeting foul results in a player being automatically ejected, and if the foul occurs in the second half of a game, he's suspended for the first half of the next contest. Every potential targeting rule is reviewed by replay officials, and the replay booth can initiate a targeting review if it isn't called on the field. How the hell are you going to tell intent? I mean, sometimes I think it's obvious, but other times you just can't. When you're making a tackle in football, once you begin your approach, I will call it, into the target, you've taken off. But see, they continue to move and change where they are by the time that the blow actually takes place. And I've seen this a lot, that the defender's already on his way in, and the offensive player continues to drop or something like that and gets hit in the head or in the area that results in a targeting call. And I'm like, man, he was going to hit him in the hip, but by the time he dropped, he ends up hitting him in the head. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and that's kind of why I scoffed when you brought this up, is because not only are they going to have to go review targeting penalties now, which they always have, but when you try to split rules like that, now they're going to have to spend extra time at the monitor deciding, is it malicious or is it not? And you're going to have situations like you just mentioned where the offensive player is the one putting himself in that position to get that call.
I think most are going to be not. I think most are going to be a targeting 1, which is fine. Unless you can show absolute intent, okay, then boot them. I have no problem with that. But unless you can show intent, man, you're kicking guys out of games. You're altering the course, the outcome of games. You're altering championships. You're altering a lot of stuff. Teams work all year long. Then a big game comes up. They don't have their best player because he got called for targeting last game, which is crap.
And I think it happened early in the season, but we saw that with Indiana this year. I think maybe the Ball State game, we had a guy sitting out the first half for that very reason.
Oh, there was a couple. There was more. But Barry said coaches don't like the subjectivity of how targeting is officiated and the result of questionable calls. He referred to situations where a ball carrier lowers his head and a defensive player unintentionally makes contact with the crown of the helmet, resulting in a target ejection. It's exactly what I'm talking about. But the thing that aggravates me is when you watch these replays, you can see that that's what's going on. You can see that the defender has already, began his approach. I don't know what else the hit. He's already committed himself, and he is launched, or whatever you want to call it, but his trajectory pretty much doesn't change. It's the offensive player's trajectory that can and does oftentimes change or continue to alter by the time the blow actually takes place. There's no intent there, man.
I think we just give Jim Coyle a seat in New York, the replay committee.
They're not going to listen to me. No one else does. But I sure think this is a good step. He said that I don't think we're getting light on targeting. If anything, we're becoming harsher in a sense. Okay, whatever. Because we're asking for those ones that we know are targeting. We're saying, hey, we want these people eliminated for longer periods of time until they can learn. If they can't learn, they need to be. Really? This was such a rampant problem last year? Was there one case? Where, oh my God, look how egregious this is. He purposely targeted this guy. Not one time did I see anybody accused of purposely doing that. Now, there are some guys that their hits are bad. But I just don't think it's like it's being laid out here. I don't think you have this litany of people going around targeting on purpose. Who wants to get booted out of a game?
Right. You want to be out there being a part of the win.
Barry said the coaches discussed whether multiple targeting 1 fouls would warrant an automatic ejection and didn't reach a consensus. That's a good point. But then again, if it's an accidental hit, why are you going to be aggressively punished for what is thought to be unintentional. We'll see.
Doesn't seem right.
The coaches also discussed whether players who commit targeting penalties should be forced to leave the field. Why? If it's ruled incidental contact, it's a penalty, but it's ruled unintentional. Why? Why make them leave the field? If they unintentionally did something, this is not like a hold.
Well, he needs to go over to the sideline and clear his head.
Then why not make him sit out for a hold? That's done with purpose.
Right.
You are purposely holding someone. You are purposely committing a foul.
What a joke.
Yeah, it's just, man, every time. Yeah, they'll get it straightened out. They'll get it straightened out. Along with supporting changes to how targeting is handled, FBS coaches also expressed unanimous support against playing games on Friday nights. Talked about this earlier. Friday nights should be a sanctuary for our high school football programs, and they should be free of college distractions, Barry said. While we recognize that there are opportunities presented where our coaches aren't in the decision-making process, we continually ask others who are scheduling these college football games on Friday night to be concerned about it. They don't want to play on Friday. The players don't want to play on Friday. The fans don't want them on Friday. The only people that want them on Friday are the moronic, money-mongering decision makers. Get off of it. No Friday college games.
And somebody else, another facet of that I hadn't thought about, that also hurts the high school kids that are getting these D1 offers. They play on Friday night. They're not getting to watch their potential schools that they could.
Oh, worse. The coaches are not able to go see these kids.
Right. Yeah, well, I mean, everybody's thought of that.
But that's the worst part.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
The coaches that are forced to play in these games, everybody else that's not playing is out scouting. They're not getting to do that.
Right.
It's a disadvantage. It's just ridiculous. Stop. Just stop. Yeah, they need to just stop it. Stop with the madness. Hey, Romeo made the Wooden Award midseason top 25 list came out. Romeo was on it.
Not Juwan.
Nope. What do you think of that? I was wondering, I thought he might make it, but what I noticed when I went back and looked at the list, 2 schools had 2 players on it.
Duke.
They're one of them.
And
you won't get the other one. The other one's Tennessee.
Probably would have got that. Probably would have been my 4th guess.
I mean, yeah.
But in lieu of saving time.
Exactly. I did the same thing. Virginia, just go through the top. Just start at the top and go down. Ethan Happ made the list, but the Big Ten did put 7 players on this list. Basically, 25% of this list is from the Big Ten.
It's a good ratio.
Cassius Winston from Michigan State. Jordan Murphy from Minnesota. Ethan Happ from Wisconsin. Carson Edwards from PU. Ignas Razdegas, the big boy from Michigan.
And then Romeo, right?
And Romeo Langford. And old Romeo. Also, how about your boy from Murray State, John Morant? The Ohio Valley Conference, getting a guy in on there. That's big time because everybody else in this thing is from pretty big programs.
Can't put Juwan on there.
Well, is he one of the top 25 players in America? I know everybody, Juwan's great, and Juwan's the heart of this team, but that does not mean he's one of the best players in America.
And maybe not, but he's often overlooked. And for me, it's getting pretty annoying.
Well, one guy commented on the post that, and we'll continue this conversation into the next segment. As a matter of fact, let's do that. We've got more coming up here on Indiana Sports Beat. Grant Athens is along the program. Also, Dustin DePirac from The Athletic. We've got plenty more college basketball to talk about. Hit us up on the text line. We'll answer the questions back right after this with more Indiana Sports Beat. This is Jim Coyle. When I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat.
Well, we're coming to your city. We're gonna play our guitars and sing you a country song. We'll all be flying higher than a jetliner. And if you want a little bang in your yin-yang, come along.
Hey, everybody. Welcome along to Indiana Sports Beat here on this 10th day of 2019. As we managed to get through January so far, it's been pretty nice. Welcome along. Thanks a lot for joining us wherever you're going, whatever you may be doing. Appreciate you taking Indiana Sports Beat along for the ride. Jim Coyle sitting in with you as always. Justin Kalen high atop the crew chief's box.
That's right.
Plenty to get to today. Grant Afseth is on. We'll talk a little bit about the Pacers, Victor Oladipo and company. He took on the Celtics last night. Dustin DePirac from The Athletic will be on along as well. We'll talk college basketball. The Hoosiers on the road tomorrow night against Maryland. Plenty to get to. Before we get to all that, let's get to the headlines with Justin.
All right, here are your headlines for this January 10th, 2019. As the Broncos reach an agreement with the Bears defensive coordinator Vic Fangio to become their next head coach. Jets have also found their head coach as they take Adam Gase, who was let go by the Dolphins last month. Alabama quarterback Jalen Hurts hits the transfer portal with immediate eligibility. And in Big Ten action last night, Rutgers defeated Ohio State 64-61, and Iowa beats Northwestern 73-63. Those are your headlines for this January 10th, 2019.
A lot of stuff going on right now. A lot of the coaching carousel, crazy. People, it doesn't even matter what level we're talking.
Yeah.
NCAA, we're talking college football, talking NFL. Got guys going everywhere. You got Texas Tech firing Cliff Kingsbury, goes to USC to become their offensive coordinator, but within 2 weeks, the NFL says, well, hold on. We kind of like what he did. Texas Tech may not, but Arizona wanted to talk to him. The Jets wanted to talk to him. At first, USC wouldn't allow it. Then they allowed it. He's the head coach of the Arizona Cardinals now. On the job for just a couple of weeks. Then you go up to Temple. I should have had you look up their original coach this year. He left for another job. They replace him with Manny Diaz. Well, within 2 weeks, Manny Diaz is now the head coach for Miami. Temple back in the business now, but I think Temple's making money on this deal. I forgot.
$6.5 million.
That's right. They're making $6.5 million on these coaching changes. They're going to be able to pay their coach and make money.
Well, and his buyout at Northern Illinois is only $300,000.
Oh, you talking about carries?
Yeah, that's chump change.
Oh yeah, that's like go to the slush fund or go to the kiddie pool and give me $300,000, please. Go to the chump change drawer and get $300,000, please. Now, Rod Carey, the favorite, alleged favorite from Northern Illinois, now for Temple. The thing, how this is going to affect Indiana, Matt Canada is obviously the number one candidate for offensive coordinator at Indiana. He's met with him. They've talked. He's interested. Not so fast, my friend. If Rod Carey goes from Northern Illinois to Temple now, Matt Canada has contacts at Northern Illinois, and I'm quite certain they're going to be very interested. He did a hell of a job at Maryland last year. I was shocked that he didn't get that job. But if Rod Carey, in fact, ends up at Temple, it's pretty odds on that Matt Canada will be the next coach in Northern Illinois, which takes the top candidate out of Indiana's offensive coordinator. Where do they go from there? We'll have to find out.
There'll be more moving parts.
I forget his last name. Offensive line coach at Oklahoma State, I think, might step in to the favorite spot if Canada goes away. We'll see, man. But a lot of facets.
Yep.
A lot of twists and turns in the coaching carousel. Hit us up on the text line to get any questions, 812-269-6367. Comments for Dustin or Grant. Tomorrow on the program, as always, our good friend Todd Leary. We'll preview that Maryland game, Indiana, tomorrow night.
Speaking of, did you hear who will be on the call for that game?
For Indiana?
For the was it Fox Sports 1?
Oh, no, I did not.
You got Tim Brando and Donnie Marshall. Does the name Donnie Marshall ring a bell?
Are you kidding me?
He's the guy that dissed the Candy Stripes.
I understand. They're letting him do another game?
He's doing another game.
You got to be kidding me. He's an idiot.
Hoosier fans are not happy.
He's an idiot.
I agree.
He is. He's a moron. Donnie Marshall played for UConn. Last year, he was doing a game in Assembly Hall. I forget who they were playing. But not only did he diss the Candy Stripes, they were showing fans in the stands, and he was taking the telestrator and just writing an X through it saying, no excuse for these pants. One of the most iconic things in college basketball, you idiot. But then, to make matters worse, their women's soccer team was on the floor being recognized for their high GPA. And he quipped some comments. C's get degrees.
Yeah, I forgot about that.
This guy's just a total D-bag. Idiot. Who says that kind of crap? First of all, he was in Bloomington. Yeah, he's not welcome back. Luckily, that game's in Maryland, but I hope that Hoosier Nation lights up Fox Sports boards.
Somebody on Twitter said,
Light it up.
Somebody on Twitter said, I have the flu. I'm taking donations to get sent to Maryland to spit in his Cheerios.
Oh my God. That's a little disgusting.
A little bit. Still fun.
But just light him up, man. He's terrible anyway. That's the thing. He's terrible.
Yeah, he's not even good. Yeah.
He's just awful. Unbelievable. Boy, that starts a whole new thing. A lot of college basketball action last night. A lot of great games, man. It was crazy how good some of these games were. Tight. Some overtime games. There was a lot of games last night, too.
Yeah, there were.
Vanderbilt, talked about this earlier. They stink. They lost Darius Garland, but I never thought that they were going to be worth the crap. I've said that on the air way before the season started. And they're not. Georgia just got beat by 2,000 points the other day by somebody. Who beat them?
Tennessee.
Tennessee beat them like a drum.
By 49, I think.
Yep. So Georgia's at home to Vanderbilt. They beat Vanderbilt by 19. That's how bad Vanderbilt is. Pat Ewing not having a great run at Georgetown, man. They lose again to Xavier last night. Marquette and Creighton. What a great game that was. A 106-104 win by Marquette in overtime. Marcus Howard, 53 points. Lighting it up. Archie's old squad, the Flyers, 72-66 winners. Who were you going to say?
I was going to just say Marcus Howard is the only Division I player with multiple 50-point games in the last 20 seasons.
I didn't know he had another 50-point game.
Yeah, he had 56?
I didn't know.
I think one game last year.
Oh, last year.
Yeah, not this year.
Definitely can score. Mississippi upsets number 11 Auburn. Big, 82-67. Ohio State, number 16. Took it on the chin at Rutgers. That'll leave a mark.
Yep.
That'll drop you in the polls.
I'm pretty upset that out of all these good games last night, it was Rutgers-Ohio State that I chose to watch.
Oh, I don't know how you missed this one. Number 17 and undefeated Houston was at Temple in a game that was back and forth. Houston down by 5 with seconds to go. They they run a great play down the court, knock down a big old three. They get the ball with a shot to win. Driving layup. Goes in to tie the game. Wait a minute, whistle. Charge. Ball game.
Just
Crazy
like that.
finish to that game. But there was just a ton of great games. I mean, I was just sitting there flipping. This one would end. Boom, bam. I'm over to this one. Here's another one. It was great. There were just a lot of good games last night. Indiana is in action tomorrow night. The ladies, Indiana women's basketball, they're in action tonight. They take on Ohio State.
At Ohio State, right?
Yep, they are on the road in Columbus. Terry Morin's squad, currently ranked 25th. I can't remember if Ohio State is ranked.
They're not. But you've got at Ohio State this week, or tonight, like you said, and then on Sunday at Wisconsin. That's a tough stretch.
Yep. It is not going to be fun. But you got to do it. Everybody's got to do it. Let us know what your thoughts are. Hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367. Dustin DePirac from The Athletic will be along later. Grant Absinthe also. We're talking some Pacers today. Jalen Hurts transferring. How's he immediately eligible? He's not a grad transfer, right?
I think he is a graduate, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, and I was telling you off air that I wanted to bring up a tweet from Galen Clavio. I just remembered what it was. He brought up the point, ask Jalen Hurts who he wants as offensive coordinator at Indiana. Hire that guy.
Yeah.
I like it.
Well,
that would be real crowded, though.
yeah, I don't see them getting Jalen Hurts.
Yeah, no.
He's going to go into a ready-made. He's going to do what the kid from Georgia did when he went to Ohio State. Do you think Michigan's not on that door right now? Do you think Jim Harbaugh is not on a jet airplane headed to Alabama, Tuscaloosa?
Perhaps.
I think he'd like to have a discussion with Mr. Jalen Hurts. They definitely would like to get that dude in the fold.
Be a nice addition for anyone.
Yeah, I hope it's not in the Big Ten. I don't want to see him unless he's in Bloomington. Don't expect that to happen. Indiana should be fine. They're going to be good at quarterback, though.
I agree.
This offensive coordinator position, though, very interesting to see what's going to happen with that. It's all in a twist and turns of the coaching carousel. Hit us up on the text line, 812-269-6367 with any questions for Grant Afseth or Dustin DePirac. We've got them both on the show today. Coming up next, right after this break, we'll talk to Grant. Stay tuned. This is Jim Coyle. When I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for a happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project, so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you can fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat. Today's guest is brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg. You need $1 million smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you'll get with Reynolds Family Dentistry. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beats on this 10th day of January. 10th day of 2019. Getting through there. Made it through weather-wise nicely so far. Unfortunately, that seems to be ending this weekend as the snowfall is headed our way. I'm not looking forward to that. Had some plans to do some stuff this weekend. That looks like that may be changing. Be watching a lot of basketball on TV. Hoosiers are on the road tomorrow night at Maryland. We'll talk to Todd Leary tomorrow about that. Today on the program, Dustin DePirac from The Athletic will join us. Last night, the Pacers and the Celtics, not a good outcome for the Pacers. Celtics all over them.
Maybe that's why Grant's sleeping in.
But looking through the box score, I think the Celtics had 7 players in double figures. It was either 6 or 7, but I think it was 7.
7, yep.
But the thing that stood out to me most, they had 3 that scored 20 points or more. I think a 20 and 2 22s. Indiana had, I think, 5 guys in double figures and only 1 with 20 points. It wasn't even a close game. They just ran roughshod on them, which not a good sign if you're thinking playoffs. And then now here recently, playoffs, they also got dumped by Toronto, the other top team in the conference, who Indiana will have to go through, both of those teams, to get anywhere. But we'll see how it works out. Joining us now, Grant Absinthe from the Kokomo Tribune, as always, talking about Pacer basketball. Grant, how you doing, brother?
I'm doing well. How are you?
Great. Pacers have had a great run of late. Been talking about them, except for the Eastern Conference, the top teams, the Celtics and the Toronto, not having good luck against them. Last night they take on the Celtics, and the Celtics pretty much just ran roughshod over them.
Yeah, it was not a close one. I think not having Miles Turner definitely has not helped them against those, in those matchups lately. Between the Celtics last night and then against the Raptors as well. But ultimately, they, not having proficient on-ball defenders is your team that can't handle their own assignment, and then especially have multiple of those in the same unit on the floor at the same time, like Indiana had or has at times against those teams. It's that's something that as they grow their team building process, they're going to have to resolve.
Yeah, the Pacers, they have a great core of players, and we've talked about this ad nauseum with Victor Oladipo obviously leading that charge. But he and Bogdanovich and these guys they have games here and there where they seem like they could be that guy, but without having that second really go-to guy, I just don't see the Pacers able to keep tabs with Toronto, with Boston, with Philadelphia.
Yeah, I agree. The challenge, when you look at the success that they've had so far with their record, they've done a really good job against teams that have a losing record. and they've had some challenges against winning teams, and I think that's mostly why, because those teams, a lot of them, they let it fly from deep. Indiana doesn't let it fly from deep, and when you're giving up a lot of a different, or not a lot on some of those matchups, but a solid differential in just the potential of scoring per possession from 3-point shots, it makes it more difficult to kind of overcome, and not having a secondary star makes that more challenging in itself too. And I feel like that's a key contributor to some of their struggles against teams like Milwaukee, Toronto, Boston, and I think it'll be important that they continue to as they build their team too, to also be able not only to be able to handle individual assignments on defense, but to also expand their 3-point shooting volume, in addition to kind of bolstering their playmaking at different positions.
And Grant, this is kind of a different year in the NBA, to me at least. Normally, you've always had the one or two teams in the entire league that kind of were standing out. Golden State, of course, the Warriors have had a great run, but they're not dominating like they were. There's no true dominant team, at least that I've seen, that I think is dominating like these teams have in the past. It seems to be a little more spread out right now, a little more equal, a little more parity.
Yeah, definitely. I think one of the main things is just the Western Conference got a lot better. Like teams like Sacramento are able to win games that they weren't able to win last year. Same with like the Dallas Mavericks. A lot. Literally everybody besides the Phoenix Suns in the Western Conference. And in the East, there's basically 5 teams. But, overall, when you add it all together, that's still a good amount of teams that are, that can win games on a nightly basis, aside from schedule, advantages like, facing teams on the second out of back-to-back. And, in the East, it'll be pretty interesting to see because, with those 5 teams, you have Philadelphia, who's still getting obviously used to, Jimmy Butler being incorporated in their team, and then Boston, they've shot very poorly on wide open attempts so far this season, and I don't think that's something that'll probably sustain. So things I think will normalize, and I think Boston and Philadelphia will be two teams in particular that are better than what they have kind of put forth. Through the halfway point.
Right. I mean, I agree. Boston, Philadelphia on this side of the ledger. On the other side of the ledger, I'd guess it would have to be Houston and Golden State as the top 2 teams on that side. Is that correct?
Yeah, I agree. I think Golden State will kind of find its form. I think Klay Thompson being in a shooting slump, a big shooting slump to start the season, has been significant to them. And Draymond Green, has struggled offensively since, coming back into the lineup. And, those are the 2 main factors because, the way they built that team, it's so reliant on their star players. If they're not playing at that level that they're used to playing or used to having them play at, then, obviously, they're obviously going to struggle not be as effective as a team. And, it'll help to have DeMarcus Cousins come back, and, if he finds a rhythm especially. I think he's going to be coming back. I think I saw, against the Clippers pretty soon, I think, the next, week and a half. So it'll be interesting to kind of see how, he does in that lineup. And, it could be kind of a game over situation if he finds a rhythm with 5 potential All-Stars. Or all-star caliber talents in the same organization. Especially, Klay Thompson looks like he's heating up from 3 too. So they could very well just find their stride and never look back, if you will.
Yeah, I wouldn't be at all surprised if they just happen to accidentally find their stride right around playoff time. They've been dominating for a few years, and that takes a lot of effort over 82 games during the season. And for the first couple of years of their run, they're dominating people. But I think people forget that takes effort night in and night out. That's why the Bulls of the days when Michael Jordan and they lost 10 games that year, but they can't. It's hard to duplicate that because that takes so much unbelievable effort and energy to exert in doing that game after game. And I think maybe they're like, okay, we don't have to dominate as much and work as hard, but just get to the playoffs and then we can pick it up. I would be surprised to see their play just really pick up.
Definitely, I think that's something Steve Kerr even kind of touched on. I think like after a shoot around, or I think it was after practice, something like that. Recently, he was saying that he admitted that there's times where they're not giving it their all, and it's something you can definitely see. And I think another thing too that kind of is interesting is that we kind of touched on too. Was with the Western Conference being so much better, it's difficult to kind of coast, and with most of their schedule being against their conference, and be able to get away with getting wins that they previously would have been able to get in recent seasons that they're not able to get now. And I think another thing too is when you kind of have a spotlight or a target on your back, being the team that everyone wants to you circle on their schedule and get up and beat. It gets difficult after a while because teams will do things like they'll strategically try to run you off the 3-point line when you're known for your 3-point shooting, and when you have the Splash Brothers and it's all everyone knows Golden State for their 3-point shooting. They'll do that against Golden State. But that's something they won't necessarily do during the regular season against other matchups. So, I think teams really get up to play them, and, they kind of go out of their way with game planning against them in ways that they don't against, a typical night against, like those losing teams in the NBA.
Now, with a lot of season left, a lot of games left to be played, not even at the halfway mark in the NBA. Indiana kind of, we know where the Pacers are. I think you can kind of, it's been enough that you can see where they are in the pantheon of the Eastern Conference. In your opinion, do they do anything this year? Do they try to go out and get somebody else to add to that to bolster their chances, or they just run it the way they got right now? They're just going to run with what they got.
I think I would start to make calls to see if I can find a secondary dynamic talent to put with Oladipo. I think mostly not because they may need it, but also because they have a lot of guys that are going to have their contracts be ending after this season, and I really don't think it would be wise to head into the summer with pretty much the entire starting lineup, aside from the two main building blocks in Oladipo and Turner, being under contract long term, or at least for multiple seasons, and also really only Sabonis and Doug McDermott in the bench unit that are regular rotation players being under contract long term as well.
Grant Absinthe, appreciate you from the Kokomo Tribune. Make sure you check him out at Grant Absinthe on Twitter. Is that right?
Yes, basically just my full name. That's one of the benefits of having a weird last name. Grant, A-F-S-E-T-H.
What is the origin of that last name? I've never seen it. It's the only one I've ever seen, so there's another unique thing about it. That makes it cool.
Yeah, for sure. It's Norwegian.
Very cool. Awesome. Grant, appreciate you joining us. Grant Absinthe, Kokomo Tribune. Thank you, sir. Look forward to talking to you next week. Hope you have a great weekend, Grant.
Oh, you too. Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
You bet. Thank you. Grant Absinthe from the Kokomo Tribune talking Victor Oladipo and company. Brought to you by Reynolds Family Dentistry of Sellersburg, serving Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Jay and Roger Reynolds take care of your family. They take care of us. Take care of me. Of course, Justin's yet to make his appointment. Soon. I'm going to call today and make it for you. But we got plenty more coming back here on Indiana Sports Speed. Dustin DePirac from the Athletics up next. Stay tuned. We're right back after this. This is Jim Coyle. When I'm not on the road covering the Hoosiers, you can find me at Bubba's 33 on the northeast side of I-65 at Veterans Parkway in Clarksville. Bring the team in for that post-win meal in the family dining area or just meet friends for happy hour. Bubba's has bold burgers, hand-tossed pizzas, mouth-watering wings, and a list of select local craft brewers for the coldest beer in town. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Burgers, pizza, beer.
Many medicines used to treat colds and flu contain acetaminophen, a pain reliever and fever reducer found in hundreds of over-the-counter and prescription medicines. But taking too much or more than one medication containing acetaminophen per day can damage your liver. So always read the label and don't take acetaminophen if you drink 3 or more alcoholic drinks every day. To learn more, visit fda.gov/OTC pain info. A message from the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services Food and Drug Administration.
If you're a homeowner and have storm damage to your roof, you want a hometown contractor you can count on and trust. Brooks Roofing of New Albany has been doing quality work since 2006. Check out their work for yourself at brooksroofingin.com. No job is too big or too small, commercial or residential. Brooks Roofing is probably working in your neighborhood right now. Visit brooksroofingin.com or call 812-868-ROOF. That's 812-868-ROOF. Brooks Roofing, the protection you need when nature strikes.
We all want a winning smile for those championship photos, and that's exactly what you will get at Reynolds Family Dentistry in Sellersburg. Reynolds Family Dentistry has been serving the dental needs of Hoosier families for over 30 years. Let Doctors Roger and Jay Reynolds take care of your family. Just off of I-65 at 809 South Indiana Avenue in Sellersburg. Call 812-246-3368. That's Reynolds Family Dentistry, 812-246-3368.
All right, crew, let's get her dug.
Honey, want to give me a hand? I'm planting that tree, remember?
No matter how large or small your digging project may be, no matter how urban or rural, you must always call 811 before any digging project. 811 is our national one-call number, alerting your local utility companies to come out and mark any lines they have near your dig site. You must call 811 at least 2 to 3 business days before any digging project so you can avoid hitting our essential buried utilities. This includes natural gas and petroleum pipelines, electric, communication cables, and water and sewer lines. So before you do this or this, make sure you do this. For digging projects big or small, make the call to 811. Brought to you by Common Ground Alliance.
If you want to get your day off to a good start, then stop at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs. While you're filling your gas tank, you could fill your own tank with a hot breakfast or try one of Billy Joe's daily lunch special. Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart opens at 5 a.m. and everything is made fresh daily. And if you bring your own mug, coffee is only 50 cents. And Billy Joe's also has free air. The best place to start your day is at Billy Joe's Gas and Food Mart on Highway 150 in Floyd's Knobs.
If you want the most comprehensive coverage of the Indiana Hoosiers, you need Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. Join us each Monday through Friday for interviews with the players and playmakers. Weekly guests like Don Fisher, Terry Hutchins, and Chronic Hoosier. We've got live reports from each game. No one gives you better coverage of Indiana athletics. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle is available on iTunes and Google Play. You can follow us on Facebook or at indianasportsbeat.com. Indiana Sports Beat with Jim Coyle. We don't miss a beat. Today's guest is brought to you by Bubba's 33 in Clarksville with hand-tossed pizzas, bold burgers, and ice-cold beer. Pizza, burgers, beer. Bubba's 33 in Clarksville. Welcome back to Indiana Sports Beat here on January 10th, 2019. Thanks a lot for joining us. Indiana on the road this week. All week. They already had a game at Michigan Monday. Things not going well there, but hopefully they can get it turned around on Friday night as they visit the Maryland Terrapins. Maryland's not ranked, but they are still one of the tough teams in that middle of the Big Ten that is going to make life very difficult. I think Maryland's a team that will be ranked. They're just not getting the early season love, and now that they're into the Big Ten season, they'll have many opportunities to win big games and many opportunities to lose big games.
Didn't they spend some time in the top 25?
They probably did because they're right there. I mean, like we said, there are 6 teams from the Big Ten not ranked in the top 25 this week, but there are 6 in a row receiving votes. 6. Count that. 6 teams in a row from the Big Ten just in the receiving votes category. So that's because it's just going to be a rotation, beating each other up. One's going to go in one week. They're going to lose to somebody. It's like last night, Ohio State, ranked 16th. They go on the road to Rutgers, of all places, and lose. But Indiana's got to get – there's been so much talk about these slow starts. Yeah, we can all see that. I don't personally understand the reasoning for it. And I'm not a coach. But just from my meager background, I'm not understand when you're doing this time and time again. This is not 1, 2, even 3 games. This is the entire season. I don't understand how you cannot come out of that locker room knowing that this has been a problem and just bear down and focus on taking care of business, taking care of the ball, not turning the ball over, taking good shots, moving the ball, doing all the things that are needed to do to run the offense. Dustin DePirac from The Athletic covers Indiana for The Athletic, and we're very, very fortunate to be joined by Dustin now. Dustin, how are you, sir?
Doing good. How are you, Jim?
Great, great. Busy man. I was telling the audience, not only do you cover Indiana, you're Indiana's beat for The Athletic, but you also cover Butler and Purdue for those. So you're a busy guy.
Yeah, it's been a lot of running around, just kind of getting back and forth between all those spots and trying to, get a handle for how those teams are doing. But it's fun to have it all together because they're all interesting teams. Basically, I'm not sure. I think it's going to be an interesting follow with all of them because I'm not sure how any of them are going to pan out. But there's a lot of good stories there, so it kind of helps out to expand that a little bit and get outside the feed a little bit.
Yeah, Purdue lost a lot from last year. Obviously, they have Carson Edwards, who is their best player, but he's their only true, really good player. And I think that they're going to be a troublemaker for a lot of teams in the Big Ten. I think they're going to be a spoiler here and there. I don't see them making the tournament personally, but I see them being one of those teams that can make life difficult for other teams in the Big Ten, much like Rutgers did for Ohio State last night.
Yeah, I think they're better than that. They're interesting because Ryan Klein I think is a good player. You're not never sure because obviously he's almost entirely 3-point based. He's not taking a lot of twos, but he can go off and hit 6 or 7 of those. So like if he's having a good night, I think the kid that really impressed me today, Travion Williams had a double-double the other night, and he's come so far so fast. He lost 50 pounds I think since June, which is wild. And he's still a big dude. He's still about 270. He's a load down there, but he can move now. Earlier in the season,
he's 270 and he lost 50 pounds. Wow.
Yeah. No, he was in bad shape. He was in really bad shape. He had to do a lot to get where he's at, but he can carry that now. He's about 6'10", and he can jump now. He can run now. I pushed it a little bit there. He's not necessarily going to beat you down the floor, but he's getting there now. He's getting up and down. He's got really good footwork around the, around the rim. Outstanding touch. And all of a sudden, he becomes a real post threat. And early on in the season, he was barely playing at all. They haven't got, I don't think, what they expected out of the 5. Matt Harms has been just okay. He's had some good days and some bad days where he's kind of disappeared. He's not been dominant at all in the Big Ten. He's a big, skinny guy. Williams is better able to impose his will, and you saw that. The other night against Michigan State, Michigan State is, as you know, that's the biggest, baddest team in the front, in the front court as there is in the Big Ten year after year after year. And, Travion, freshman kid, just starting to play a little bit, got up there, and he impressed some people. I got a chance to – Michigan State's got open locker room after the game, and I went in and talked to Kenny Goins, and he was, really impressed by what Travion did because, Travion was a Michigan kid.
Yeah, and
play open gyms up there, and they were like, I've never seen anything like this from this kid. He's amazing now.
Yeah, and that leads me back to Indiana and these slow starts that they've been getting. And it's well documented. We've all been talking about it. Coach Miller talks about it. What I don't understand is, as a team, these guys, they know that this is a problem. And so I don't understand how they're not coming out and just really bearing down, focusing on doing the things they need to do. Take care of the ball, get good shots, find the guy, just do the things that they are capable of doing, that they end up doing later in the game. But it's just I'm sure it's a question for everybody, but why? Why can they not just get off the schneid and get going?
I think, there's a couple things to it. I think, one thing Archie Miller said was that they just haven't been tough enough. It just takes them a while to get started. I think now one big issue is it hadn't burned them, at least not too often. They weren't going to beat Duke whether they had a good start or not.
Right.
They just got their doors blown off.
And I don't think they were going to beat Michigan. At Michigan, whether they got beat or not, and there was a whole lot of things that affected that one.
Yeah, and the thing about Michigan was, the fact that they were even in that game after, when Morgan and Langford go pick up 2 fouls and you've got to pull them.
Yeah.
You're in. That's the danger zone right there.
The game was almost over at that point, right there.
Yeah, no, you see that and you're like, okay, well, they're going to be lucky if they get out of here alive. This is just that's the worst case scenario for them, and that's obviously the bigger issue with them right now in general. I think. Slow starts are a problem, but they need other guys to contribute other than those two guys.
Absolutely.
There's just too. They are too dependent on them, and those guys have been terrific. But it's just somebody else has to do something. They need Finney back really bad. But they need a Devontae Green to do better than he has. They need more points from Al Durham. Justin Smith is an enigma. I'm fascinated by him. He's, because it just seems like he's doing so much better defensively. He's become a really good defensive stopper, been terrific on the glass. But just offensively, he seems to be just totally risk averse because it seems like they're just sort of afraid to put the ball in his hand. At this point, and they just don't want him taking a lot of chances. But I think you do need some more out of him when you got a guy with that kind of athleticism. You maybe got to push him a little bit to try to do a little bit more. Obviously, you don't want him turning the ball over, but you need a little bit more there. There's just got to be something coming from somebody else. And in that game, when you've both of those guys in foul trouble, well, they still ended up playing a lot of minutes because they had a stretch without them both in, and Archie was just like, "Oh, heck with it, man! I got to play them." We don't really have. There's nothing you can do without them, and they had a stretch where they were out, and it was basically a 10-0 run right out of the gate. They couldn't do anything offensively, so they've got to get more. And in that one, they were just lucky to hang on and be within 15. That could have been worse than it was. So they do. I think Archie will get it across this time. Especially because they lost the game. But, the problem on Sunday wasn't the same as it has been. And the fact that they were able to come back and win some of those games, maybe they were like, we can start slow. We'll be fine. We'll get it back. And there's some confidence there that's like, all right, we're a team that can close. If we don't start well, we'll live. So I think after that, this might wake them up some and realize, like, hey, man, you can't, especially in this league, there's too many talented teams, too many good players. You can't afford to dig yourself a hole. You're not going to get back out of it every time. Just because you've done it a few times doesn't mean you could do it every game.
Yeah, I could see Indiana going to Maryland and winning because of that. Archie was pissed off after that mission.
Yes, he was.
He was. There's no other way to put it. I just watch him. I'm like, oh man, he's not happy. He's really pissed, and with good reason. I think he's as frustrated as the fans are because he's as the players that I have on talk about it. Colin was on yesterday. Colin Hartman. He said that coach is one of the most competitive people he's ever been around. So I promise you, losing those games aggravates him to no end, and these slow starts are aggravating him. And one of the things that most coaches have at their disposal is something called the bench, and they just put them on the bench. But he's kind of handcuffed right now. They are very shorthanded without Rob Finney, without Race Thompson, they've been without Duran, and of course without Jerome Hunter. This has been going on and on and on. That handcuffs what he can do, and that bench is a great motivator, but he's not able to use it as much as I think he'd like to.
No, you're right. I do think he can go a little deeper than he has, though. I've been sort of surprised that he hasn't gone deeper to get some guys in. Demezy Anderson's still there.
Yeah,
we haven't seen him in a little bit.
Exactly.
There's Forrester's been out too. I mean, that's another thing to remember is that he tweaked an ankle, so he's been missing some games, and that cost you. But yeah, I mean, the last one, I mean, he had to go to the bench because Juwan and Romeo were in and out. So he has to dig deep, but he didn't dig that deep. But I think he could go further with that. I mean, I'm a little bit surprised, but I don't know what the Demezy's doing or not doing. But I'm a little bit surprised they haven't gone to him because I mean he's at least got scoring potential. McRoberts is a really nice defender, but he's not scoring the basketball for you.
Right.
Demezy's got that potential. I mean, he can get you some points sometimes, and I think that's a guy that you can use. If you've got to keep yourself in it when you don't have another scorer on the floor. Anderson's as good as an option as you have. I mean, he's at least not that worse than Al Durham, and he definitely gives you more than McRoberts can give you. So if you put the ball in his hand, I mean, he's got a better shot than a lot of guys. So there are options, but like you said, I mean, the fact that you have so many injuries definitely handcuffs you a little bit. It's not as easy to take guys out in and out. Again, he could have a deeper bench. He has chosen mostly to have a shorter rotation. There is, a lot of it is injuries, but some of it is his own choice that he doesn't want to be a guy. I don't think that's playing 10. I think he likes an 8-man rotation and to be steady with it. And the guys, in some cases, the guys he's bringing in off the bench aren't doing as well. I mean, you haven't seen what you want out of Evan Fitzner in a while. I don't think. I mean, he hasn't been shooting it as well, and then that's obviously what they brought him on for. And you're not necessarily getting the defense, the rebounding that you want out of a guy his size as well. So that, you're right. The bench needs to step up also. I mean, they got, and I didn't think any of the guys did bad on Sunday as far as the guys he brought off the bench. They didn't really hurt him, but they got 0 bench points in that game.
Yep.
So, the guys, in order for him to be a useful tool, guys need to come in off the bench and play and make plays and do a little more than they've got.
Talking with Dustin DePirak from The Athletic. Fitzner is one of those guys that I'm like, golly, coming in, I had expectations. This dude shoots 42% for career from behind the three-point line. That shot has disappeared, and I don't know if it's because the offense that he ran at St. Mary's is so different than here. He just doesn't seem as freed up here. And I think maybe he's being forced to play more defense. Maybe his roles changed a little bit, but something is definitely not there. He's not in the flow of knocking shots down. And then you talked about Demezy, who can do the same, and that's something that this Indiana team really needs, is someone to knock down outside shots, because if they can add that to the 52% field goal shooting, they're going to be a really tough out, but they need that extra something added to make them that difficult out.
Yeah, I think, and Archie's been saying it since the beginning of the season that he doesn't expect us to be a team that takes a lot of threes. It doesn't have to be. I think they've proven that they can get a lot done by attacking the paint and going and get fouled and spending most of the time there because they've got some athletes, and certainly Romeo and Juwan can really beat you up in there. But there's just got to be a little bit more of it. They don't have to be a great three-point shooting team. They just got to be a little bit better. And, Fitzner's a big part of it. It's just for a guy that can come in off the bench, get lost in the game a little bit, maybe be somebody you forget about, and get an open three and hit it. And just, he hasn't hit a lot of the ones he's gotten. Some of those have been open. Maybe it requires, a little bit more playing time, for him to get in a little bit more of a flow. And to get that, he's got to earn it. He's got to be able to defend and rebound, and give you more of that so that he's getting those kinds of minutes. So that he can be in there to space the floor a little bit. And that obviously then opens things up and makes it easier for them to go get those buckets going to the rim. So there just needs to be a little bit more. You're right. I mean, I don't know. Again, I don't think they have to be a team that goes and hits 10 a game, but maybe get 5, maybe get 6, maybe get 7. Just to space the floor a little bit, make it easier for guys to get the ball in the paint. And if you are behind it really helps you. Certainly as an equalizer to help you get you back in the game if you can hit some threes. And that's kind of big. I mean, it definitely seems like that lead against Michigan seemed bigger, even than it was, because you just know that there's not the shooting that gets you back in a hurry. There are some guys who can hit. I mean, again, Anderson's hit some. When he's played, he's absolutely hit some threes. Romeo's got to get better at it, and you're seeing it out of Juwan. I think he's shot the 3-ball pretty well. Didn't the other game against Michigan, but when he's got some 3-point looks, he's hit some of them. But Romeo's got to hit his open ones. He's got to hit some more contested ones, and it really for his own future. I mean, I think he's going to be a top 10 pick regardless. I think, but that's what they're going to want out of him at the next level is he's going to have to hit some shots, and he's definitely going to move up the ladder if he can prove that in the next couple of months. So, I mean, they need to get some shots from everywhere. Certainly, Finney being out is a big deal because he's become their most reliable 3-point shooter. So they definitely need a lot of guys. I mean, Al Durham can hit some more for sure. Again, it's never going to be the staple for them. They're not built that way to be a team that relies on it a lot, but there's enough guys to be able to hit shots. They should be able to do it.
I agree. Dustin Dopirak from The Athletic. Can't thank you enough. Look forward to talking to you again next week, and I'll see you on Monday night. I'm sure you've got plenty of games to get to between now and then, though.
I'm actually not going to be at any of them. I'm going to be at Monday's the next game I'm going to be covering. I'm not going to go on the road this week, but I'm going to watch a couple of those games on TV. Got some other stories I'm working on, get some things cooked up, and kind of focus on that a little bit. But there's kind of far travel for these next ones coming up. We don't necessarily go as far because it's Maryland and Wisconsin.
Make sure you follow Dustin at Dustin Dopirak, right? That's at Dustin Dopirak, right?
Absolutely, yep.
Twitter and at The Athletic. Make sure you follow his coverage. Thank you, Dustin. Appreciate you, sir, and I'll see you on Monday.
Sounds good, Jim. Thank you so much, man.
You bet. Thank you. Dustin Dopirak from The Athletic joining us as he does each week. Make sure you follow him on Twitter at Dustin Dopirak. That's going to wrap it up for us here today. We got more tomorrow. Todd Leary will be with us. For Justin Kalen, this is Jim Coyle, and I will see you on the radio.